Hello and welcome back to Read Becca, and we're here to celebrate my Indie Bookstore Day haul. So I obviously got the tote. I also got the mug. So they both say indie bookstores are my jam. Indie Bookstore Day in the US was April 30th, and like all over the country, people were coordinating for this event to make it kind of a big party at these bookstores, and so it was great to see a ton of people out. I did get some footage of my indie bookstore, and it was a little bit crowded, so I actually didn't really get to look in the areas that I wanted. I really wanted to look at children's books. Those are downstairs in my indie bookstore, and I didn't get really any footage down there, hardly at all, because that's the bargain area, which I did get a little bit, and nonfiction and children's. And the children's fiction being down there meant quite a few kids running around, and I did not want to film anybody, so I just avoided. And I would have loved to look, because they have a lot of both new and used stuff there, and so they get some really nice quality copies of older things. And so I got one children's book, but otherwise had a hard time looking through that area. And I also didn't really get to look at the sci-fi and fantasy section very much. I got kind of a one shelf and then an island shelf because there were just too many people over there. So on the walkthrough, I managed to get through the entire top floor and show it off a little bit without filming any people. But yeah, it was a blast of an event and very exciting to see all the people out enjoying Indie Bookstore Day. So as I said, I have my Indie Books haul from that event from my local bookstore, and my bookstore does ship online as well, so I will put their link down below if you have any interest in checking out their stuff. Like I said, it's both used and new. I've gotten a lot of, well, right here, most of my CJ Cherries, the used old paperbacks came from them. They have a great selection of that type of stuff. I did also get a couple of things in the past couple of months that I'm gonna tack on here because I haven't had really enough for its own haul, so just two things. Alright, so the first thing that I got was the only brand new book I got is The God of Lost Words by A.J. Hackworth. This is the third Hell's Library book. This is kind of mythic fantasy, I would say, in the vein of like Neil Gaiman. It's really fun. It's very bookish. So it being the Hell's Library, this is a library in hell where our librarian in the first book is overseeing the unwritten library, basically. And it's full of books that haven't been written, haven't been finished. And occasionally characters slip out of the books to go try and find their author and get them to write the book. And so this librarian is having to hunt down a character to try and stop them from reaching their author, basically. And there's also a lot of heaven and hell politics. There's angels and demons, but there's also a ton of other mythos. They end up having to travel through different underworlds through the series. So I'm really excited to get to this third book. And I've heard only great things from the couple people who have read it. I've just really enjoyed the series. So looking forward to that one. Then I have The Man from St. Petersburg by Ken Follett. This was in the bargain pile for $1.50. So I have to read. I don't normally read the backs, but I have to read you the back because it's so bad it's good. His name was Felix. He came to London to commit a murder that would change history. He had many weapons at his command, but the most dangerous were the love of a beautiful young woman longing for the end of innocence and the passion of a high-born lady demanding satisfaction at any price. Against him were ranged the whole of the English police, a brilliant and powerful lord, and the young Winston Churchill himself. These odds would have stopped any man in the world except the man from St. Petersburg. And the blurbs are even better. Goes down with the ease and impact of a well-prepared martini, the New York Times Book Review. A grabber with the pace that never flags, Cosmopolitan. A grabber. Yes. So I have no idea about this, but it's Ken Follett. I just started reading Pillars of the Earth, so the writing in that is very good, so I'm interested to pick something up from him otherwise, and this was $1.50, so I'm fine with it if it's not any good. The next one, I saw the first book in this series picked up by Fresh Parchment during March Mystery Madness, and this is Tuesday, the Rabbi Saw Red by Harry Kemmelman. So the first one is Friday the Rabbi Slept Late. I'm hoping I can read these without needing the first one, but I had put it on my TBR when I saw it on Fresh Parchment's channel because it sounds really intriguing. It's just a mystery series starring a rabbi. Yeah, it says murder is not kosher on the back. It's great. So yeah, I don't really need to know anything other than that. It sounds like a fun series. And then the children's book that I got is The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White, and I have never read this one. It's a really lovely classic copy, a little bit beaten up, but it's got the Mylar cover on it, so that's fine. And it's really just beautifully black and white illustrated. And I really love E.B. White's Charlotte's Web, and so I'm super happy to check this one out. Look at that beauty. So yeah, love it. Then the Gina Stanier made me do it portion of this haul. I bought a series, not a whole series, but a couple books that she's constantly raving about and sound absolutely delightful. So I picked up 2 misreads. I got both of the used copies that they had. We've got Misread Fresh from the Country, and this one is illustrated by J.S. Goodall. We've got Village Affairs by Misread. And I think these can be read pretty much out of order. I think that's what she has said, Gina, when she's talked about these. And they sound like very calm, country, like pastoral type, mellow slice of life novels. And that sounds like something that I really need in my life right now. So I'm kind of bummed I did not find Thrush Green. They did have multiple of the early Thrush Green novels, but they were in like brand new ones. They didn't have the actual like Thrush Green is the title one. So regardless, I'm very, very pleased to have those. Then on my non-indie bookstore day haul, I got Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I've already talked about this. I have a whole full review of this that I will link. But I read this on ebook and then I turned around and bought the physical right away. So yeah, I absolutely adored it. Then kind of a special edition thing. I got the box set of Umbrella Academy graphic novels, and they are just really, really gorgeous. So that's the first one. And the second one. And the third one. So yeah, this is one of my very favorite graphic novel series. It's about these children who are all born on kind of a special day, and then this mad scientist kind of guy adopts them all and raises them together as a family, but a very dysfunctional family, and they happen to have superpowers. So it's great fun and very timey-wimey and weird, and as I said, it's one of my favorite series. I saw that they were putting out this box set, I think end of last year, so I've had this for a couple of months. I think I got it in January, and it's just really lovely. It also came with a poster, because it's like a special edition thing. So we've got a big poster of all of the characters on one side, and I don't know if we can get this in, this is too tall. And that on the other side. So really, really lovely, and I'm super duper happy to have it. So that is my haul. Let's talk about like consumerism, since we're talking haul. So Indie Bookstore Day is fabulous if you can afford it. Buying this pile of books definitely was a lot more than I typically spend on books, because I love books so much that I can dig through a bargain bin and find stuff I want to read for very, very cheap. And so I do that most of the time. I go to charity sales, I buy very cheap used stuff. So the reality of that is that I spent about 35% of what I spent all year last year on books on just these 7 books from Indie Bookstore Day. And I bought 90 books last year. So that's a big difference. And 2 of those were even in the bargain bin and were just $3 for those 2. So it was a lot more than I usually would spend. So I think overall message was, Indie Bookstore Day was great. And even if you weren't able to get out and buy something from an indie bookstore, you should go out and just support the buzz and enjoy being a part of your community through your indie bookstore. But I think there's an awful lot of pressure put on people that I wanted to address here about buying only from indie bookstores. And the reality of that is that I'm in a very privileged position where I've been incredibly lucky in a lot of things that have happened in my life in the past to get me where I am, and discipline and choices as well play into it. But all of that confluence means I have expendable income, and a lot of my expendable income goes to books and pets. If you've seen the cat wheel, you know I spent way too much on my pets. But that's like my primary thing that I spend my expendable income on, and that's okay. So I am able to do that and support and enjoy my indie bookstore. But that's not for everyone. You are still making the world better by being a reader. You're increasing your empathy, you're informing yourself. And so that's enough. It's okay to not feel like this is pressure. It's okay to be excited about Indie Bookstore Day, even if you can't actually go out and spend a large amount on books or anything on books. So that's just my PSA on feeling that it's okay to just buy books in whatever means that you can, use your library. You don't have to engage in the consumerism of Indie Bookstore Day to be part of the community. So with that said, I'm going to show you my indie bookstore. Thanks so much for watching.